Okay, friends, we're here in Shnipechek, which is the original site of the burial of the Vilna Gaon and the Ger Tzedek of Count Patatsky. Now, this is very important. This is the place where we're going to speak about one of the most central issues of this whole trip. Are you allowed to go to the Kever of the Vilna Gaon? That's right. Are you permitted to go there? Do you know that the Vilna Gaon writes in his letter that he wrote to his family when he was headed to Eretz Yisrael? He tells his daughters and his wife, "V'tishmeri shaloi telchi lebeis hakvaros klal uklal." Be careful, never to go to the cemetery. Shesham mizdabkim haklipos moed. In the cemetery, the forces of evil cling there. V'kol shekain b'noshim, especially for women. Women are not allowed to go to cemeteries. V'chol hatzaros v'avonos ba'am mizeh. All tragedy and sin in this world comes from visiting the cemetery. The Vilna Gaon forbid his family, especially his wives and daughter, from visiting the cemetery. Not only did he forbid them, any tragedy you see in this world, the Gemara says, came from visiting the cemetery. So, by the way, if you think, okay, but at least I'm following the opinion of the Arizal. No. Reb Chaim Vital writes in the Sharuach HaKodesh, don't come close to Kfarim. So this is unanimously held, from the Gra to the Ari, not to visit a cemetery. In fact, in the official biography of the Gaon, of the Aliyos Eliyahu, he brings a story that the Gra once went with his brother Reb Dover to visit their mother on the yard site. You know, many people think on the yard site it's a good idea to go to the cemetery. So they left, and the Gra said to his brother, "You see, my dear brother, how happy Ma was that we visited him?" Reb Dover was very astounded that the Gra was able to see the presence of his mother at the Kever. A few days later, the Gra told Reb Dover that he suffered from visiting the cemetery. He said, but Reb Dover said, "Didn't you say how happy the mother was that we visited her?" "Yes," says the Gra, "but I suffered tremendously from going into the cemetery." So the question is, maybe if you want to visit other Gedolim, that might be a good idea. But the last individual that you would want to visit is the Vilna Gaon. After all, it's his opinion that you're not allowed to go. And you know, there's a rule that we follow the halach of somebody, at least in their vicinity. So how could you visit the Kever of the Vilna Gaon? And I was always thinking about that. One of the reasons that we haven't been to Vilna yet is, if you go to Vilna, you got to visit the Gaon. But how could you, in good faith, visit the Kever of the Vilna Gaon? So Rav Moshe Sternbuch has a tshuva. Tshuvas v'hanhagos, chilek beis, siman samach dalet. That first of all, the Gra is only talking about kivrei chutz la'aretz. He's not talking about kvarim in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, there's no tumah. The forces of evil don't apply to the kvarim in Eretz Yisrael. And says Rav Sternbuch, the Gra is not talking about kivrei tzadikim. Kivrei tzadikim are not metame. Therefore, Rav Sternbuch concludes that Kivrei Tzadikim in Chutz La'aretz have a status of Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, the minhag is that we do visit Kivrei Tzadikim, and we're mispalo there, and we're mishtateach there, especially if they're a relative or a parent. But if they're in Eretz Yisrael or Kivrei Tzadikim, the minhag is to visit. But still, you know, how do you view visiting the Kever of the Vilna Gaon? So I have to say, just shortly ago, I found the following. Okay, this is a gold mine. This is the official biography of the Chafetz Chaim, written by his son, Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. Pam kishachala. One time the Chafetz Chaim was ill. Bikesh leilech al Kever hagra. He asked to go to the Kever of the Vilna Gaon, the Vilna, ulevak shoy, and to ask him. You know, which is interesting expression, because you know the Mishnah Berurah says that at a Kever we don't address the mess. We ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the schus of the mess. No, says Rav Aryeh Leib. The Chafetz Chaim wanted to go to the Kever. They're going to ask him, La'oira rachamim alav. Why? Because the Chafetz Chaim wrote a Perush on the Toras Kohanim, and there he answers all the questions the Achronim ask on the Gra. So in the merit of his defending the Gra, he wanted to be taken to the Kever. So I think a good precedent to visit the Kever of the Vilna Gaon is none other than the Chafetz Chaim himself, who was the one who wrote not to address the mess, but the Chavetz Chaim himself asked to be taken to the Kever of the Vilna Gaon. But it's important to bear in mind what our attitude in general. It's we don't flock to the Beis Olam, but at least in Eretz Yisrael or Kever tzadikim, we of course have precedent to visit Kever tzadikim. Be'ez Hashem, when we go to the Gaon and to all the tzadikim, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu answer our tefillos barachamim of Ratzon.